And a good evening, everybody. I am Weather Impact 10 TV Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz here on 10 TV Plus on this evening. We're a little more than 24 hours away from what appears to be a pretty significant weather event for Central Ohio. And we're going to take this opportunity to give a little bit of inside baseball, which is fitting. It is the first day of the Columbus Clippers season. But that aside, today a pretty nice evening. Tomorrow we're going to be near 80 degrees, but we're setting the stage as a really powerful spring storm system begins to move through overnight tomorrow night. Yeah, another one of those nighttime severe weather events. That's going to just add a layer of complexity to the problem. And we're just telling you right now, this is not a one-day deal. While we do have 10 weather impact alert days back to back for your Thursday and for your Wednesday into Thursday, we still have the possibility of flooding and other concerns as we get into Friday, Saturday, and even on Sunday. So the main focus for the short term is Wednesday night into Thursday morning for those strong storms. We'll break down what the main threats are, the timing of those storms, and we also want to let you know we would like to take your questions. You can send them to us on the 10 TV Facebook page or text them. You don't need any special app or anything. You can just use your regular text messaging app, 614-460-3345, and we'll try and answer your questions. We'll be up front. We don't have the level of detail that I suspect that some of you are going to want to know. For example, what is the exact time that fill in the blank is going to affect me where I live? We will begin to see some of that, but it's really going to be light until tomorrow and tomorrow night. Overall, big picture, flooding threat for the next 5 days, Wednesday through Sunday. High wind, hail, and a possible tornado, not out of the question with that line of storms coming back in tomorrow night, late tomorrow night. Again, we'll track that for you. And then in Thursday morning. And I cannot emphasize this enough. We're going to sound like a broken record, but hopefully it sinks in. Stay connected. Stay connected to a good source of weather information. 10 TV is a good source of weather information. Also download the 10 TV app. But you need more than one way to get that severe weather information. We will obviously go through a couple of those ways, but number one way is a National Weather Service weather radio, and most importantly, have a plan. Now, you might need to enact that plan with the 10 weather impact alert Wednesday 11 o'clock through Thursday at 6 a.m. That window moved a little bit. Earlier yesterday and even on Sunday, we thought that the severe weather threat might be late tomorrow evening. It's closer to midnight tomorrow, and we're going to get new model information, and we'll continue to share that out to you as some of that becomes clear to us. But right now, about a 7-hour window for the severe weather threat. Because of those strong thunderstorms coming in at night, that's a dangerous time, just something we don't really necessarily want, but it's going to happen across the entire viewing area. Strong thunderstorms possible, and emphasizing again, to be ready. Now, the other side of that is what happens on Thursday, and we'll walk you through this, but generally speaking about Thursday, that severe weather threat is diminished. Not zero, but diminished. We're going to have more rounds of rain, and then our focus is going to be with those rain and storms, the potential for ongoing flooding. So some flash flooding, which means a lot of rain, short period of time over a small area, or broader long-term, call that aerial flooding over a larger area. Both are possible, so be ready. And some of that might be as simple as making sure your sump pump works, making sure the storm sewers in and around your house and your neighborhood are clear. We had a bunch of windstorms the past couple of weeks. There was debris everywhere, some of that making it into the streets. So clear those drains. Make sure that your drains inside your house are clear. And don't do it and put yourself in danger. But if you need to hire somebody to come out and make sure your gutters are clear, that might help as well. Just to make sure that water gets to where it needs to go and not in your home. Now, looking at the impacts, this is just Wednesday to Thursday. We're going to talk a little more about the second part of the week in a minute. Main threats for Wednesday and Thursday because of those storms will be flooding and large hail. The highest concern, and you'll see why in a minute with this line of storms comes blasting through central Ohio, will be strong damaging winds. And that tornado threat, while low, is not zero. And that will be something we're watching, again, exacerbated or complicated by the fact that these storms are coming in while we're trying to get a good night's rest. Now, they're looking at the severe weather outlook Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. You see the state, it really includes 3 colors. Possible, scattered, and numerous. So this is still kind of painting with a broad brush, but the experts at the Storm Prediction Center do this every single day. It's all they focus on is the severe weather threat. And this is concerning. Oftentimes it kind of raises our awareness and our concern, which we're doing right now and communicating to you, is where you see that yellow, that's scattered severe weather. Where you see that orange, that's numerous severe weather. And for a recent frame of reference, just going back 2 days, we were under that numerous, that category 3 out of 5 threat. Could be worse, sure. Could be better, but again, we're going to watch as these storm systems and these forecasts evolve with time. So let's start with one of them, Wednesday at noon. So we're about a little more than 12 hours away from that. And that shows an area of some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. That's moving in and out pretty quick. 5, 6, 7 o'clock Wednesday. Midnight on Wednesday night, midnight actually technically Thursday. Then we're watching the storms begin to move back in. Notice we're still pretty dry, and keep in mind tomorrow is going to be a little deceptive. It's going to be very windy and very warm. In some spots we could get close to 80 degrees. That's not a good thing. A very warm summer-like day ahead of this system simply means a lot of energy feeding into these storms as they move in. So we're going to walk you through midnight to 2 o'clock. That line races to the east, affecting just about everybody at some point in time. But at this point in time, 2 a.m., we're looking around Mount Gilead, Delaware County, east of Marion, around Marysville, and of course around Columbus, where you see that deeper orange and that red, all the way down to Circleville and back to London, and down toward Fayette County and western parts of Ross County. Between 2 o'clock and 3:30, that line gets some legs and continues to move off toward the east at a pretty good clip. Now we're talking Coshocton, Zanesville, New Lexington, Logan, and down toward MacArthur. Still some lingering showers and maybe a rumble Delaware back to Bellefontaine. But overall, this first and main line is where I think that significant severe threat will be located. That moves almost all the way to the east by 5 a.m. So again, almost this entire event happening overnight in the middle of the night. Leftover shower possible into your Thursday morning, and then we'll see things improve just a little bit. So that's round one, and that's why we've got those 2 weather impact alert days, Wednesday night, very late into Thursday morning. Now, as we look at the conditions and kind of shifting gears a bit for the second half of the week and the weekend, that's where we've got this flood watch. Starts Wednesday night, goes through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not impossible, but it's somewhat unusual for the National Weather Service to hoist this broad of a flood watch this far in advance. So that simply means that confidence is growing. And we show these rainfall amounts that are coming up. You'll see why in a moment. But this painting with a pretty broad brush, when I say everybody, I mean everybody in the 10 TV viewing area is under that flood watch. More of a reason, as I said a few minutes ago, to keep those drains clear, the sump pumps working. You've got a couple of days before that heavy rain really settles in. So we're going to start the clock then Thursday mid-morning, maybe a shower or a storm across the southeastern corner. By 3 and 4 and 5 o'clock, we're going to watch another area coming back in, kind of clipping Columbus, Circleville, Lancaster, and Newark, and then pushing off to the east. Chance of a shower or a storm, yes. Severe weather, not likely with this, but we'll be watching that situation and that time frame pretty closely. Late Thursday, then into Thursday night, catching your breath just for a minute. By sunset on Thursday, then into Thursday night on Friday, watch how fast this other area begins to move back in, and watch what happens coming in from the south. We're watching this areas kind of merge together into one huge area of rain and possible thunderstorms. That's again overnight. That's midnight Friday morning. As we go through midnight to about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, finally, that main body of rain and storms moves out, but we're not done. Still some lingering showers through the middle part of the day, although that severe threat will be lowering. We might catch a bit of a window. If you've really got plans outside, you got to keep them on Friday. It might be okay. Saturday into Sunday, probably not so lucky. So kind of walked you through over the past 5 or 6 minutes of what we're thinking and what we're looking at. If you want to ask questions about the situations coming up or anything from me, you can do that by texting them to 614-460-3345, or you can go to the 10tv.com, 10TV Facebook page, I should say, and we'll be watching those questions as well. So we'll do our best to answer them all, and hopefully they'll have some answers for those questions. Now, we had mentioned the rainfall amounts, a lot of different colors that you normally don't see. Fortunately, if there's any silver lining to this, and we're maybe reaching here, but that's this rainfall amount, these 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall will be coming in several waves. But the problem is the ground is going to be saturated, and there's not going to be an extended window of dry weather until next week, until Monday and Tuesday of next week. So what you see, that's late Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. We'll stop the clock at noon on Saturday. It's when our reliable data starts to tail off a little bit. Just about everybody 2 inches. Some spots over 3 inches. Down toward Logan, Columbus, 3.67 inches. Chillicothe, 3.22 inches. A little less, but still some significant rain. Zanesville, McConnellsville, and Caldwell. Athens, again, 3.14. So I do expect these numbers to ebb and flow a little bit as we get closer. But again, this is one of the reasons why we've got that flood watch up so far in advance, because even through Saturday morning and through midday, we're not done with the rain. We can expect to see more rain and some possible storms. So let's start Saturday morning. And one of the things I want you to watch Just actually back up a step. One of the things I want you to think about is that oftentimes in the winter and in the spring, we see these transient storm systems moving through pretty quickly. And they move through, they change our weather, kind of like the one Sunday to yesterday and to today. Saw a little bit of unsettled conditions yesterday, dry and cool today. We're just not going to catch that break. We're going to see a system coming through Wednesday night and Thursday, a system Thursday night and Friday. So this is Saturday morning. As we go through the day on Saturday, midday through the afternoon and evening, that system again sets up shop. As we go through Sunday, it's not until late Sunday night. So again, we're still watching an area of rain and thunder possibly impacting us at least through Sunday morning. Late in the day Sunday, that area begins to move away, and there are not any reinforcements this time. But if you look really closely, and we're talking a few hundred miles away, but there's some snow flying across the UP of Michigan and parts across the southern Ontario. That simply is a message to us that behind this system, sure, we're finally going to catch a break from the rain and thunder, but it's going to be pretty chilly by the time we start next week. So that rainfall forecast, again, getting through Sunday is something we're watching very carefully. So we're going to continue to watch that and track that for you. We're going to come back to the Weather Center here with all the tools at our disposal and see what kind of questions we have from the crew. Thank you, Enid. We'll answer some of those questions in real time and go back to a map that will have a bit more meaningful information on there for you. Enid, how bad do you think it will be for Columbus tomorrow? So Enid, tomorrow, pretty much morning, you're fine. Middle part of the day, chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. Not terribly concerned about that. Don't fear that window of time. As we look at the opportunity for the severe weather, that really is tomorrow night, after dark tomorrow night, and then into the really, really early hours of your Thursday morning. That's when we expect that to be at its worst. So we're going to walk you through. I kind of set things up here and answer some of those questions as we're walking through. What wind speeds are we looking at? Do you think the risk will increase tomorrow as they did on Sunday? A great question, Ashley. The wind speeds, in order to be a severe thunderstorm, have to be over 58 miles an hour. I know we're splitting hairs, but think of turnpike freeway level speeds, 55, 60, 70 miles an hour. It really depends on the characteristics of the storm once it gets going. And like Sunday, we were literally sitting in the Weather Center around 7 o'clock, still wondering the fine details about how things were going to play out. We were ready, we were prepared, and we were watching, but it really wasn't until things got into Ohio, close to Interstate 75, which is very close to our viewing area, until we finally got an idea like this is the timing, this are the threats, and this is where we're looking in terms of where. So some of those real specific questions we can't answer, but there is a likelihood that wind has come up, and our thoughts, our confidence in the threat for significant winds to be part of this storm system Wednesday night into Thursday morning has grown. So that would mean wind gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour, maybe even higher. And sometimes, just to be clear, while tornadoes are terrifying, any tornado is terrifying, oftentimes tornadoes are maybe 100 or 200 yards wide, maybe a football field or two. Sometimes we're talking about straight line or wind damage that can be a half a mile or larger. So just to put things into perspective, and don't be dismissive when we're talking about wind damage or wind potential being a threat, because oftentimes it can impact a much larger area than a tornado. So just keep that in mind. We're watching and we're concerned about both of those, but just to keep that in mind, just because we're saying there's a low chance of tornadoes, a higher chance of wind damage with the storms, don't be dismissive of that. Take that pretty seriously. How bad for Lancaster? Julie asked. So Julie, we'll time this out for you. This is just round one as we get toward Lancaster. That's a leading edge. That's 2 o'clock in the morning. We can step forward just a little bit. Oops, that was not a little bit, Jerry. I just fat finger that, went all the way to the end. We're going to go back to 2:30 in the morning. There's Fairfield County. We're going to step it through very slowly. 3:30 in the morning. So between 2:30 and 3:30, this line is forecast to move through Lancaster. I do want to say we are, again, 24, 36 hours out. Please don't hang your hat on this. We're kind of doing this, again, as I said at the top, to share a little bit of inside baseball and to field some of your questions. Please don't let your guard down. Don't think because we answered your question and we gave you a time frame for example, Fairfield County and Lancaster, that's set in stone. If anything, it's not. We just want to give you the awareness and that window that we think it could happen. We're talking to our folks in Lancaster, Fairfield County. Don't let your guard down. So keep that in mind, Julie. Please stay tuned. to our updated forecast, which we'll be giving tonight and then through the day tomorrow. How bad will it be? Praying against this storm just like the last one, and certainly that helps, especially for folks that are impacted by that. An area for greatest concern on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, no. Everywhere is a concern. I don't have a specific area that is more concerning than others. And part of that is compounded by the fact that this is happening at night. So that's something, again, that we're watching very, very closely. Let me get back to got multiple screens here, so just bear with me for a second. Greatest concern Wednesday night, tornado in Columbus. Tanny asked if there was a tornado in Columbus. This past event, no. There was the closest confirmed tornado to us from Sunday was in Fayette County, pretty close to the outlets. Another tornado was close to Kings Island, and those were after dark on Sunday. So that's something. That's the closest that we saw. We had some wind damage, some trees down in and around Franklin County, and some power outages. But I think most of that damage and those power outages have been resolved. Yeah. Cambridge, yeah, thank you. Cambridge, thank you, Cheryl. Let's take a look at Cambridge. We'll go through this timeline here. And just emphasizing again, this is 3:30 in the morning. So as we walk through that hour by hour, Cambridge bearing the brunt of this system, 3:30 to 4:30. So it's about an hour. And maybe that's also worth bringing up and mentioning. Thanks for that question, Cheryl, about Cambridge in Muskingum County, Muskingum with an M. That looks like the severe threat is going to be 1 to 2 hours for any specific location, but it's going to pass over the entire location, the entirety of central Ohio, starting around 11:30 and midnight, and then going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even into about 6 o'clock hour to the east by Athens and down near Caldwell. So those areas are getting a little further east of the 10 TV viewing area. We know we have viewers out there. And speaking of which, the viewers to the west of Marysville and London, and Logan and Champaign and Clark County, they're looking at that weather moving in around 11:30 to 12 o'clock. So keep your guard up. Don't let your guard down. It's kind of saying the same thing. But it looks like, again, that the worst weather from this particular time frame will be around 2 o'clock in the morning. So thanks again for that heads up there, Nate. Jeff, you're not asking too many questions. We appreciate the questions. Not a fan of tornadoes. I hear you. It's a terrible thing, and I'm sorry to hear about the tragic situation that you're dealing with. If you have no place to go, hopefully this gives you enough time, whether it's a friend or a relative. I would rather everybody, including our team here at 10 TV, we're going to be over-prepared for this. We're going to be overstaffed. We're going to be over-ready. And in the hopes that we don't have to enact any of those contingencies or those severe weathers plans. So if we do, basically what I'm trying to communicate to you is that you have a day and a half, 2 days, day and a half to kind of get those plans. Maybe you've got a friend or a neighbor. If you're still rebuilding, if you're in a trailer or a mobile home, you need to get out of that if a tornado warning is issued for your location. That's not a safe place. So we want to make sure that we kind of reiterate and reemphasize some of those severe weather guidelines for you as you're going through this situation. And the simplest thing to remember in a tornadic situation, if there is a warning issued for you, that you got to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I know it sounds pretty, what does he mean by that? Well, an exterior room is not the best place to be. An interior room, bathroom, is a better place to be because there are more walls between you and the outside. Most people, I'm painting with a broad brush here, and I hopefully won't get any hate mail, but most people are not swept away by tornadoes. They're injured or worse by flying debris. So if you can minimize your exposure to flying debris, whether that's a helmet, whether that's a bathtub, whether that is under a mattress or a bed, that will be a step in the right direction, Jeff. So hopefully that helps you answer your question a little bit, but we'll just emphasize, have multiple ways to get those warnings. Have a plan now. What do I do? Where do I go? Do not wait until 2 o'clock on Thursday morning to come up with a plan. and be ready in a moment's notice to take action. We have often said your pets and your papers and your people. I'll add another P to that, your pharmaceuticals. You got a day, so if you have some critical information or things that your life depends on, put them in a very convenient place along with some shoes, and make your plan now so that you're ready if that severe weather threatens and continues to move on as it's looking like tomorrow night. Ross County, Vanessa, let's go back to that map there. That will show, we'll go walk through Ross County for a moment here. Thanks again for all the folks joining and asking questions. I hope, I don't want to say you're enjoying this, I hope you find this valuable. It's nice for us to be able to have a long form opportunity to present some of this information to you and to get your questions in real time. So I'm finding it useful, and hopefully you do too. So Vanessa, let's get you to Ross County. Again, I got to be slow down here a little bit. 1:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, 3:30. So that's about a 2-hour stretch for Ross County moving through at that particular line. Thanks, Mike. Kudos on the good advice. Do you think the storm will weaken with no daylight? Thank you for feeding that, our always on time and ready director, Nate. It's possible, but one thing we see sometimes, at the risk of sounding like a weather nerd, which I am, sometimes at night the atmosphere doesn't behave as it normally does. Most times it cools down, it settles down, it calms down, it stabilizes. That'll be the case tonight into tomorrow morning. Pretty decent night and pretty decent start to the day. Some cases, however, that atmosphere separates, kind of like oil and water. And what that means is that the air directly above the surface, that will be higher wind speeds or a different direction of wind speeds. And that can actually compound or make that severe weather threat worse at night. Not just because it's at night, but because some of the meteorological ingredients coming into play will actually strengthen. It's called a nocturnal jet. And that sometimes can come into play when we're looking at one of the components that feed those thunderstorms at night. Clearly, and you know this just from living in Ohio for any period of time, the majority of our thunderstorms, midday, afternoon, and evening, they feed on the heat and the warmth of the day. That's really typical in the summertime. But we're just right around, March and April, early spring, and some of those other things oftentimes come into play. So that's just one ingredient that we're watching. Again, very, very good question there. Becky in Hocking County, we'll take a look there since we're already pretty close to that. Hocking County window at this point, 2:30 in the morning through about 3:30 a.m., 2:30 to 3:30. Getting clipped in the southeastern corner, 4:30 to 5, and then some lingering showers and probably not totally dry until later on Thursday morning. And that goes into play with what we talked about too. Continue to kind of watch for some of your questions here as well. Kind of trying to, do you think Eastern Ohio will receive more flooding than tornadoes? Brooklyn, I would say yes. That mainly because that flooding threat, and we'll take a second now, we'll answer a question about Franklin County in just a moment there, Cheyenne. That's because when we're looking at the ongoing severe weather threat, and if you heard me call out some of the counties and some of the times, they've been about 1 to 2 hours, 60 to 120 minutes. You might have to be in your safe place or your shelter or hunker down. When we're talking about the rain threat, and I'm not trying to give anybody, I'm not trying to have them get nauseous by speeding through this, so just bear with me for a second here so I can there's a timeline. We're just kind of scrubbing the timeline going through. I'm gonna move through pretty quickly, and what I want you to focus on is the direction the rain is coming from and the frequency at which we get these rounds of showers, starting Thursday night. We're going through Thursday night, there's round number 1. And then we'll watch round number 2 coming back in, clipping the southeastern corner by sunrise on Thursday. Another round begins to fire southeast of Columbus, again, Circleville, Logan, New Lexington, McConnellsville. That's Thursday afternoon. It gets up to Columbus Thursday afternoon, rush hour, that moves out. So that's 3 rounds. Another round moves in, this time northwest of Columbus. That's a 4th round, Thursday night. Now watch this other round move in from the south. That's round number 5. And what we're looking at, again, is we call that training. Just like a train stays on the tracks and goes the same direction over and over and over again, these areas of rain and thunderstorm are training over the same area over and over and over again. So while the risk we're talking about severe weather threat is an hour or 2 hours, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, this flooding threat and heavy rain threat is going to go on for days. So just cannot emphasize enough, this is kind of a 1-2 punch, not the kind that we like. The first punch would be the potential for severe weather Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The second one would just be that prolonged rain and that threat for flooding. Everybody in the 10 TV viewing area is under a flood watch from tomorrow evening, Wednesday evening, all the way through Sunday. Right, so that's 4.5 days under a flood watch. So they're painting with a broad brush, but that's giving you enough time. Hopefully take some of those precautions. Make sure your sump pump's working. You might want to be able to get something, maybe a pump or something that can pull that water out of an area, a submergible pump to do that. In case you get some casual water, if you're susceptible where you live, where you work, you might want to think about that. Now, what can I do to alleviate that or to help this far in advance to keep that from happening or to mitigate that risk? So, and we talked about Franklin County. Let's go back to that for a second here. Timing out Franklin County, we're going to go way back. Bear with me as I'm scrubbing backwards. The start time, Franklin County, about 1:30 a.m. That barrels through by 3 o'clock in the morning. So about 60 to 90 minutes. 60 to 90 minutes for Franklin County. Yeah, some folks will be driving in there during that rain. Ashley, we hear you. Is this going to be worse or stronger than the last storm system we experienced? Morgan, I'd say about the same. I'm not trying to be cavalier or ignore the details in your question. I just think that we're watching a couple of things coming together, one of them being that this is happening at night. That is most concerning. So I don't want to say, oh, it's going to be weaker and have people let their guard down, or it's going to be stronger and be unnecessarily concerned or scared. But let's just have the right level of concern, and we will continue to update you as some of those details become clear to us. Got some of these earlier questions. Bear with me for just a second here. Yeah, Jimmy, your tea time at noon Friday, I can almost guarantee it's going to be cart path only. Maybe if you have your waterproof golf shoes on there, you might get out there. But I suspect that a lot of the courses are trying to open up. People are trying to get out and enjoy some of this, what eventually will be a nice spring in central Ohio. It's going to be tough going on Friday anywhere. West Jeff, Ohio. Hello, Brandy. Let's go back to West Jeff. It would be just in parts of in Madison County. That's about a 12:30 to about a 1. A little clip there, but that's about 12:30 to about a 2 o'clock a.m. Hour and a half window of the severe weather. Some lingering rain behind that then. Continues and maybe gets clipped as we get through 3 or 4 o'clock, but that window again is really around midnight. Becca, what is the possibility of hail and tornadoes? We're going to go back to this particular graphic. Can do a little bit of an illustration for you. Try to make it as easy as possible to break down some of the science and not be really nerdy and just tell you guys what you want to know. The threats for this storm, this is Wednesday night through Thursday. So even though we have the flooding in the medium category here, that's only because we haven't seen as much rain as we're going to see later on. Large hail is a medium threat because some of the ingredients aren't quite as leaning toward or trending toward what we need for large hail. But we could have small hail. Large hail is an inch or greater. Small hail could still be a problem around dime or penny size. Strong winds continues to show signals of these energized storms in the direction they're moving and how they're being forced and what they're being, the ingredients that are in place. Strong winds being a higher likelihood with these storms, a higher threat. And tornadoes is lower. It's not zero, but it's low. So that's just something that we're watching, trying to categorize those threats. Flooding is medium. This goes through Thursday. That flooding threat is going to continue for days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's when we have that flood watch that goes through several days in advance. So do you think we'll lose power again? Possibly. Around Grove City, Barb, thanks for checking in with us. Grove City, we'll walk through the forecast for you there in just a second. Southeastern parts or southwestern parts of Franklin County. Looking again, moving in about 1 to 1:30 in the morning and then going through about 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's about the window for parts of Franklin County. Richard, thank you for the update, and my radar should have gone off. This will be the 51st anniversary for the super outbreak in 1974, April the 3rd, that leveled Xenia. We're not making comparisons aside from the date, but appreciate you bringing that up, Richard. Thank you. Aaron Quick, we'll do this real quick. Take a look at Marion since we're here. Marion County. Northern edge of that line could be dealing with earlier, let's say about 12:30, and then that lasting through the county and getting clipped again by around 2:30 a.m. So, yeah, tornadoes, yeah, high chance of, excuse me, Jeff, I do not think there is a high chance of tornadoes, but it is not zero. And that's one of the things we want to emphasize to people. Just like this event on Sunday, we don't have all the answers. And a lot of times we call this nowcasting. We're basically making and updating the forecast in near real time. And this is oftentimes the case with severe weather threats and thunderstorms. Snow, ice, rain, a regular storm system, a little more time to breathe because of it takes a long time for those things to evolve and come together and then eventually play out. With the severe weather threat, and remember, we were looking at storms on Sunday moving 60 or 70 miles an hour. You know how fast that is just from driving on the roads. So imagine trying to fine tune and make forecasts and look into some of those level of details with something that's moving and changing so quickly. That's very difficult. So again, not trying to be evasive, answer your questions as honestly and straightforward as I can. We just don't know some of those details yet, and we won't, unfortunately, until tomorrow night. I do want to let you know that we are going to continue our streams on 10 TV Plus. We also continue them on YouTube and on our Facebook page. But the 10 TV Plus app is a great way because you can download that to your smart TV. You can watch the streams on your phone if you have the 10 TV app. And the reason that's important, it's a really important reason, it's important, I'll say it 3 times, because if you cannot watch your TV, if you by chance are in a situation where you have to take shelter, maybe you're out, maybe you're not at home, maybe you're not by your smart TV, or you're watching and then a tornado warning is issued for where you live, you still need that way to be able to get that reliable weather information. The most reliable way to do that is a National Weather Service weather radio because those antennas very rarely are impacted and there's multiple levels of redundancy. And they will tell you exactly the forecast dangers where you live. If you just turn that radio on, make a couple of fine adjustments on that to tune it into where you are. They also make the version of the radio, and I'll get it for our next stream, that is a hand crank. So you don't need batteries. It has a flashlight. It has some of different music channels on there, but it also has the National Weather Service frequencies, which are really, really important. But going back to the 10 TV app for a moment, is that you were able to watch that stream on something that everybody has with them all the time. Make sure your phones are charged going into tomorrow night. Make sure you've got a phone charger that's charged going into tomorrow night and then Thursday. And always try and keep that National Weather Service, that weather radio close by too. So I'm going to wrap up here in a couple of moments. Oops, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions. I'll do my best. Well, I talked about the winds. I can't give you an exact measurement, Karina, how high the winds will get, but any thunderstorm will have the chance to be over 50 or 60 miles an hour, maybe even higher. So that's something we're watching. Rachel Davis just got here, so we're going to sign off momentarily. Hi, Danny from Fort Wayne, long distance dedication here. Rachel, we're looking at the window, again, kind of buttoning it up for everybody, looking at the window of severe weather threats that starts tomorrow night after dark and then goes through the very early hours of Thursday morning. This is just round one of a very disruptive week that we're going to have here in Central Ohio. We've got what we call a weather impact alert for Wednesday night and all day Thursday for the possibility of strong storms that will transition to a flooding threat. During those strong storms, high wind, very heavy rain, hail, and isolated tornadoes are possible. That is, to be a little more specific, 11 p.m. tomorrow night through Thursday at 6 a.m. This impact will be what I just mentioned because of those strong thunderstorms. Be ready, be prepared, have a plan. Then we move to Thursday, all day Thursday, occasional showers and thunderstorms. That will add more water to an already waterlogged ground. Be ready as we will transition to flooding being the main threat as we go through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The immediate threat from the thunderstorms going through tomorrow night, Wednesday night into Thursday morning are strong winds, followed by flooding and hail. As we said, tornado is on the low end of that category, but the chance is not zero. So we're going to be on the air tonight at 11. We're going to be on the air tomorrow, of course, at 4, 5, and 6 p.m. And more than likely tomorrow evening, we will let you know when we know when we're going to be on. We've got some very sensitive programming, some great programming on CBS tomorrow with Survivor and with The Amazing Race. We're not going to break into 10 TV unless there's an absolute weather emergency, but on 10 TV Plus, we will have updates tomorrow evening, probably around 8 o'clock. If not, it might be 9 o'clock, depending on. It might behoove us to wait a little bit longer because we'll have some more fresh, detailed weather information to share out. So we'll talk with the managers here and kind of see what time works best for everybody. But we will be back on 10 TV Plus tomorrow in the evening. And if need be, we'll be on tomorrow night after the 11 o'clock news into the wee hours of your Thursday morning doing this exact same thing. So we will let you know. We like to be a little bit flexible, but we're looking at, again, continuing coverage on 10 TV Plus. The other thing we plan on doing, which is pretty cool, is being able to show some weather variables and some important information while we don't have a human here. So we need to take a break. I need to get a drink. I need to do some of those things. And we need to get ready for the 11 o'clock news. But starting tomorrow and then ongoing while this threat continues, we're going to do our best to keep you updated with constant information on 10 TV Plus. And don't forget, we'll let you know when we are making a decision on what time we're going to come back. You can catch us online at 10tv.com, download the 10 TV app, and later tonight we're going to have our 10 TV news at 11 o'clock. So until next time, which will be very soon, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz. Thank you very much for your time and your questions. If I didn't get to them, don't take it personal. I'll go try to answer some of them shortly. And please keep them coming during these live streams because they are so very important in having that two-way conversation. Stay weather aware, and we'll see you tonight at 11.